Hi, welcome back to Engineer Your Space. I'm Isabel. After 3 years of living in a studio apartment, you have no idea how happy I was to finally move into an apartment with an actual bedroom with a door. And that's why I'm really excited to share with you today how I decorated my bedroom by making a custom headboard and doing lots of other DIY projects to take this plain bedroom and turn it into a beautiful, elegant sanctuary. I can't wait to show you what I did, so let's get started. Since I left most of my furniture behind when I moved from New York to LA, I was basically starting with a blank canvas in this bedroom. Now it's 12 feet by 14 feet, which meant I could easily fit in a queen-size bed. Now to save some money, I decided to go with a really simple, inexpensive second-hand bed frame, which was perfect, but it didn't have a headboard. So of course, I thought it would be fun to make one. And you'll see, this is a really simple project that anyone can do. I used one 4 feet by 8 feet sheet of 1/4 inch thick plywood, 1 by 3 boards, and 1 by 2 furring strips to build a lightweight structure for the headboard. I had the plywood cut at the hardware store to be the width of the bed frame, 62 inches, and then I had that piece cut in half so that it would fit in my car. The remaining piece will be for a wall art project that I'll show you later. To attach the plywood pieces together, I used 3 1 by 3 boards placed horizontally that I screwed in place from the front. And then I added the vertical 1 by 3 boards the same way to complete the frame. Next, I attached furring strips to the top and both sides of the headboard, drilling pilot holes and screwing them to the 1 by 3s. This makes the headboard look thicker, and the side furring strips act as legs, making the headboard rest just above the top of the bed frame. Now comes the fun part of dressing up the headboard, and here you could really customize it to any look that you want. Now I thought about making mine into a tufted upholstered headboard using the same method that I used to make my banquette panel. But I wanted a different look here, and I decided to upholster my headboard using burlap panels and burlap ribbon. And you'll see this is actually very fast and easy to do. I used a light coat of spray adhesive to secure batting to the front of the headboard, making sure to cover all the edges, and I added a second layer for a softer look. I covered the top edge by stapling a length of the 3-inch burlap ribbon, and then stapled 3 panels of the 13.5-inch wide ivory burlap fabric, leaving about 1 to 2 inches in between the panels. I covered the remaining gaps by stapling more 3-inch ribbon, and used peel and stick fabric tape to close in the seams by simply removing the backing and pressing down on the fabric. The last thing I did was add decorative nails to the sides and stapled cardboard to the back to smooth out the fabric. I wedged the headboard between the wall and the bed frame to hold it up, and I left the legs unpainted, but you could easily paint them to match your bed frame. I also used 3M command strips to help secure the top of the headboard onto the wall. I just love the way my headboard turned out, and if you're interested in purchasing any of the materials that I use for the headboard, like the burlap or the peel and stick fabric tape, I'll have links in the video description below that you can click on. Now it's time to move on to the nightstands, and here I wanted to add a pop of color, and I ended up finding the perfect inexpensive tables at IKEA in this beautiful turquoise color that matched the cushion on my bed perfectly. But the tables are too short, so I came up with this easy way of making taller nightstands by simply stacking 2 of the tables on top of each other and cutting the legs of the bottom table. To cut the legs, I put masking tape to protect the finish where I want to make my cut, about 4 inches from the top of the leg. And then I used a speed square to mark the cut on each side of the leg. The legs are hollow, so they're really easy to cut with a miter box and a hacksaw that has a really fine tooth blade. And cutting one side at a time is actually the best way to get a straight cut. And using these steps to cut the legs will give you a nice smooth cut every time. You'll want to check that all your legs are the same length, and if they're not, you can use sandpaper stapled to a piece of wood to make any minor adjustments. All that was left to do was put in the legs, and then I used liquid nails to secure the legs from the top table to the top of the bottom table. And voila, nightstands that are the perfect height. For art, I found inexpensive secondhand frames that I gave a new look to by just applying some rub and buff in antique gold. I used a rag to do this and wore gloves to keep my hands clean. This was really quick and easy, and I love how the gold reflects the light. I also hung some art on a frame that I made by gluing furring strips to the back of the leftover piece of plywood that I had from the headboard. I added eye hooks and wire to hang it, and I secured the art to the frame with brads. It was the perfect thing to dress up that side wall. The last thing that I did in the bedroom was to take care of window treatments. And in this case, that meant getting rid of these ugly vertical blinds. And I did that by replacing the slats with this beautiful curtain that I found at IKEA, and by making a window cornice to hide the hardware at the top without having to remove any of the existing hardware. I just love how everything came together to create a beautiful, relaxing bedroom to unwind at the end of a busy day. Well, that's it for today's episode. If you're curious to see how to make a window cornice and how to replace vertical blinds with curtains, you can click on this video here. And if you want to see how to make a tufted upholstered panel, you can click on this video. And for more information on this project, you can go to my website, engineeryourspace.com. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss any of my upcoming episodes. See you next time.